I'm here. Sorry, I'm here. I had to go grab my drink that I left in the kitchen. Hello, Saul Goodman. Evening, Izzy. How are you? How are you now? I have to get comfortable in my squeaky chair. So squeaky. I know I left it on the island in the kitchen. I forget crap like that all the time. Hey, Kelly, how are you? I hope everybody is having a good start to their week. Hey, Brandy, how are you? How are you? I'm just gonna wait a minute or so for a couple more people to get here, and then we will talk about it and go over the timeline like we always do. All right, let me bring up my little banner. Allegedly for entertainment purposes only. Now we're oh yeah, my phone's charging, dang it. Okay, so let me go ahead and share my timeline. Okay. So I don't know if everyone knows the story about baby Dylan Groves. Let me know if you have not heard the story about baby Dylan Groves. Oh, I gotta turn that off. You know nothing? Okay. Well, we are going to be going over it today because this is this one really breaks my heart. Baby Dylan Groves was literally only 2 weeks old when he was killed. 2 weeks of life. This baby literally had 2 weeks of life on this earth with horrible people. Horrible people. Like this is heartbreaking. Like really heartbreaking. It makes me sad already just thinking about it. Okay, so we're going to get into this timeline here. This is the dad right here. That is the dad right there. So let's get into what the news broadcast had to say.
3's Elizabeth Suarez reports the document raises questions about whether more could have been done by Scioto County Children's Services to protect baby Dylan.
In over 2 weeks since 6-month-old Dylan Groves was found dead in the bottom of a well in Scioto County. Since then, there have been vigils, protests, and meetings held about the handling of Dylan's case, and if more could have been done to save him. On Tuesday, ours was the only camera in the room when the County Children's Services Board made the decision to keep Executive Director Laura Fuller in her position, pending an investigation by the Ohio Department of Jobs and Family Services. Tonight, we're getting a look at an investigative report from the Scioto County Sheriff's Office showing what happened in the last months of Dylan's life. According to the report, Child Services has been involved in baby Dylan's life since day one because he was born addicted to drugs. Workers scheduled a number of home visits, but many fell through because no one was home and messages sent to his parents went unanswered. On March 28th, Child Services was able to make a home visit and reported everything appeared okay. But just a few days later, neither of Dylan's parents showed up for a hearing. On April 18th, they missed another court date, and an attempted home visit on April 23rd also went unanswered. 3 days later, the sheriff's office was ordered to remove Dylan from the home home. On April 30th, a missing persons report was filed for Dylan. The report then says on May 2nd, Child Services employees asked about issuing an Amber Alert. But Director Fuller said that was a bad idea, that it would look bad on them that they lost a child. Today, we reached out to Director Fuller to ask about the comment in the report. She hasn't responded to our questions, but earlier this week, she told us,
"We feel like we follow the laws that are set forth by the Ohio Department of Job and Family Services, and not only Ohio Revised Code, but also Ohio Administrative Code."
So as for Dylan's parents, Daniel and Jessica Groves, they were arrested on a number of charges and remain in jail tonight, and their trials have been set for October. As News Channel 3's Elizabeth.
Okay, so as everybody heard, CPS has been involved in this child's life since day one. He was born addicted to drugs, right? And then they missed appointments, missed emails, and nobody even thought to just keep knocking or keep visiting or even contact with a police officer until they answer that door and you see proof of life. Like, this CPS in this county, how they handled this case is one of the worst I've ever seen. And you guys are going to see. Like, it's just crazy. It's just crazy. Okay, so where do I go on? Okay, so right down here. According to the report, Children's Services has been involved in baby Dylan's life since day one because he was born addicted to drugs. Workers scheduled a number of home visits, but many fell through because no one was home and messages sent to his parents went unanswered. Isn't that like a red flag immediately? That something is wrong? Isn't that a red flag? I mean, to me, that's a red flag. On April 30th, oh, wait, hang on. On March 28th, Child Services was unable to make a home visit and reported everything appeared okay. Oh, wait, they were able. Okay, and everything appeared okay. But just a few days later, neither of Dylan's parents showed up for a hearing. On April 18th, they missed another court hearing, and an attempted home visit on the 23rd also went unanswered. Red flags. 3 days later, the sheriff's office was ordered to remove Dylan from the home. On April 30th, a missing persons report was filed for Dylan. The report then says on May 2nd, Child Services employees asked about issuing an Amber Alert, but Fuller said that was a bad idea, that it would look bad on them that they lost a child. That they lost a child. Okay. However, according to a statement from the sheriff's office released Friday, this part of the investigators' notes are inaccurate. Sheriff Donini stated that Director Fuller did not make this statement, but that the supervisor said that. The sheriff's office released a statement with the note that has been amended to note the inaccuracy discovered and a correction has been made that states, on 5/2/2019, she told Lisa Thomas about Daniel not showing up to court and asked about an Amber Alert, and that the supervisor said that was a bad idea, that it would look bad on them that they lost a child. Friday, before the amended note was released, we reached out to Fuller to ask about the comment in the report. We also reached out to the Scioto County Sheriff's Office detective regarding the document on Friday, but did not receive a response until the release regarding the correction came. Okay, that doesn't really give me too much of a timeline. Hold on, y'all. I'm going to see if I can find a good timeline. I have got to find a better timeline. I thought that was a good one. Give me a second. Let's see. Where's that video? There was a video that I had seen that describes everything. I got to see if I can find that video. Yes, here it is. Okay, here it is. Okay, here it is. No, is it pause? Okay, pause. Okay, found it. So I want you guys to listen to this. I seen this and I knew immediately I had to do this. I found this and I was like, I have to do a reading for everybody because this is just crazy. Okay, so this is from Law and Crime Trial Network, and it is on YouTube. I will include them in my link, but this is the part that you guys, I will fast forward it to, oh yeah, you guys need to watch this. You guys really need to watch this. Okay, here we go.
Please be seated. Back on the record, case number 19 CR 586 A and B, State of Ohio versus Daniel Groves, State of Ohio versus Jessica Groves. Counsel and the parties and all jurors and alternate jurors are present in the courtroom. The state and the defense have rested their cases. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you've now heard the evidence that you will consider in deciding this matter. The lawyers will now have an opportunity to provide to you a closing argument to summarize the evidence and the law in this matter. Is the state prepared for closing argument?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is the defendant Daniel Groves prepared for closing argument?
We are at this time, Your Honor. Thank you.
Is the defendant Jessica Groves prepared for closing argument?
Yes, we are.
State of Ohio, Ms. Hutchinson?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Hutchinson, you may address the jury.
Thank you. May it please the court, opposing counsel, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Good afternoon. At this point, I have good news and I have bad news. The good news is that your service here as jurors is almost complete. The bad news is that the most difficult part of your service is about to begin, and that is your deliberations. His Honor, Judge Kuhn will instruct you as to the exact law that you are to follow and what applies in this case, but I'd like to take a few minutes just to assist you in understanding what it is we believe we need to prove here, what we have proved, and how that relates to the charges. We discussed at the beginning of the week, we're not testifying, only what comes from that witness stand. What did you hear from Dr. Brown? Dr. Brown testified that there was actual evidence of homicidal violence that caused baby Dylan's death. All those fractures we just talked about. She testified she couldn't rule in or rule out drowning. Jessica Groves can't remember. Did failure to seek emergency medical care after multiple serious injuries over a period of time cause baby Dylan's death? She can't remember. And he did nothing.
Yeah,
The
those
last
are the
element
parents.
Is that baby Dylan, was under 13 years of age at the time of this offense. Well, there's no dispute because today he would be one if we weren't here discussing his aggravated murder. Count 2 murder requires the state of Ohio to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that these two defendants did or were complicit in knowingly. His Honor will instruct you that a person acts knowingly, regardless of their purpose, when they're aware that their conduct will create a certain result. Are you aware that 3 violent incidents is probably going to result in a baby's death? Daniel Groves doesn't see anything wrong with bashing a baby in the head 4 times. Or picking it up and squeezing it and shaking it. You can do that to a baby? He watched this happen to his own son, baby Dylan. He says by his own wife. The man that Children's Services placed this baby's safety upon did nothing. That's not complicity. You let her around that baby one more day after you saw that and you're not complicit to this whole thing? Would she have had any other access to this baby but for defendant Daniel Groves?
I know, Blue Rider. This case was so sad. So sad.
Again,
Wait till you guys hear how graphic his death
count 2
was.
murder knowingly caused the death of baby Dylan as a proximate result of committing or attempting to commit an offense of violence that is a felony of the 1st or 2nd degree, felonious assault, over and over and over. Count 3 kidnapping requires us to prove that these defendants in this case,
Hi, Mama Bear.
again, baby Dylan was under 13. So by any means, did they remove baby Dylan from the place where he was found or restrain his liberty for the purpose of hindering, impeding, or obstructing a governmental function? I submit to you, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, that every single time these 2 defendants withheld baby Dylan from Children's Services, they committed a kidnapping. You heard the testimony The initial plan involved Children's Services seeing face-to-face baby Dylan weekly. At some point, maybe that went to monthly. You all determine that. And you also heard the Children's Services worker say that at any time, if they requested to see this baby, these defendants were to submit to that request. Whether Children's Services filed or asked criminal charges to be filed on each of those occasions is not an issue here, because you're the finders of fact. You go back there and determine whether or not they violated the law. I submit to you they did. Between February 4th and February 25th, Children's Services caseworker testified there were numerous attempts to contact these defendants about baby Dylan, such that they ended up going to Daniel Jr.'s school to try to pass messages to his parents. And again, I submit to you, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, that's the way it's been from the time that baby was born to right here this week. Against their own children. You were told at the beginning of this, Jessica Groves is going to take responsibility. Did she take responsibility when she spoke with Detective Conkle? She take responsibility when she spoke to her sister? Did she take responsibility in here this morning when she spoke to you? She can't remember what happened, but she does remember it was an accident. Is that taking responsibility for these injuries? You're expected to believe defendant Daniel Groves, everything he said in here. The same guy who, after they say the baby was dead, tells Children's Services in a text message he's growing like a weed. You were told that Daniel Groves panicked and dumped baby Dylan in a 30-foot well. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, does this look like panic to you? Does it? A chain, 3 padlocks, 12 zip ties, 8 wire ties, 18 rocks, 6 layers of plastic and duct tape. Does this look like panic? I submit to you it looks like extreme planning. They want you to believe they're not complicit to their baby's murder. But this is what they chose for a coffin and his burial? This? And then they dumped him in a well. Proof beyond a reasonable doubt. Guilty on each and every count. Each one of them.
Okay. Yep. That's what I was trying to get to. They were trying to say it was an accident, but look what they put him in. Look what they put him in. And then they dropped him down a well. How gross is that? He suffered torture and violence from the time he was born. The mom shook him. The dad, I think the mom punched and shook him while the dad did nothing but watch. Sickening, sickening, sickening. And CPS knew about this. That CPS knew about this. Two weeks old. That baby had 2 weeks of life on this earth. And it was torture and horrible for him. Disgusting. Okay. Disgusted, disgusted, disgusted. So disgusted. Mm-hmm. I had the chills the whole time she was reading that they put him in that crate with locks and rocks and just wrapped, and it was just crazy. Yes, so not what is done. Yep, exactly, Mary. Okay, here we go, baby Dylan. Here we go. Seven of Wands. Four of Wands. King of Pentacles reversed. A lot of wands already. Lots of wands. A lot of wands. And then four of wands. Let's see. This child was a burden for them straight off the bat. This child was a burden for them straight off their bat. This child took away a lot of things that they, well, especially from the woman. Baby Dylan pretty much took away a lot of the time that she wanted to spend with the dad. So far, this all has to do with her. Hold on one second. My goodness. The household is loud. I mean, look at the faces. Hang on, I gotta turn on my other light. Okay. So look at the faces. Look at the faces of these people, right? Look at the faces. That's so creepy and so scary. That's probably what baby Dylan saw every day. That is what he saw every day. Baby was born in... That's what I'm saying, Blue Rider. That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. Seven of Cups reversed. Death reversed. No way. No way. Wow. So this is Judgment. Like immediately Judgment's in here. Judgment's been done. They reap what they sow. They reaped what they sow. They were by a judgment of peers. They were sentenced by a judgment of peers. Death reversed. It is inevitable. It is inevitable. They reap what they sow. is using CPS, goes to the hospital, takes the child, placed with foster parent. See, that's what I thought. Isn't that what usually happens? That's exactly what I thought originally happens. Yep, scattered state of mind. So this falls on the parents and this falls on CPS. This baby was failed by two things: the system that was meant and built there to protect him, and the parents that were there to protect him. And both systems failed him. Both systems failed him. Both systems failed him. That is really sad. That is really sad. That is really sad. All right, so we've got the Ace of Swords reversed. Emotions. Then we had the Six of Swords. Emotions, struggle. Three of Swords reversed. Yep. So, so you've got confusion, poor judgment. Okay, confusion and poor judgment. Confusion and poor judgment. I can't even talk. Then you got the Six of Swords. Because swords represents conflict. Then you have struggle. So addiction, right? Because that's what CPS was involved because of addiction. So you got struggles with addiction. And then you got Three of Swords reversed. Means they were trying, right? They were trying to heal from old wounds. So they were trying to heal from past addictions, but not really. This card represents mending, but I don't believe they were on the mend. I don't believe they were on the mend. And then you've got, I believe that's Wheel of Fortune. Hey, Jennifer. Ultimately, this may sound bad to some people, but his death, baby Dylan dying at 2 weeks, the 2 weeks that he had on earth was torture and abuse and resulted in his death. That now he is in heaven and he is not tortured, he is not abused, he is not dealing with all these pains anymore. He's not dealing with this pain anymore. That's probably the only good that's come out of this, and then them reaping what they sow. Like this is just all around sad. He was failed by two things. Like I said, the system, and he was failed by his parents. Well, his parent, and then his dad's girlfriend. But they reaped what they sowed. That is the good thing, is they reaped what they sowed. They reaped what they sewed. Let me grab my other cards real quick so I can continue with this. Here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Here we go. Here we go. It's very sad. It's very sad. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know procedure. I just heard of a procedure. But as far as I know, from the time that a baby is born, right, they run tests to make sure the baby was not born with drugs in its system. Because if it is, CPS gets involved like ASAP, right? And then the child is taken away immediately. I don't understand how the dad was able to have the baby. I don't understand. Like, it just baffles me. I don't understand how he was still able to have the baby. Like, CPS really messed up. Really messed up. Because it's funny because CPS knew and was involved from the time of his birth, what had happened. So I'm so confused. Gilded regret. So of course, right? Of course they have gilded regret right now. Of course, because they got caught. So they have regret because they got caught, not because of what they did. It's just because they got caught. Fated to suffer. If he was to stay, this card absolutely like makes sense to me. If he was to have stayed in the custody like he was with his parents, he was just fated to suffer. He was fated to suffer. His life was already fated to suffer. And it's very sad. Very, very sad. And this card also popped out. The temple of my body. Yep, his body. Confined to his body because he was a baby, right? Very sad. You have a friend that is an RN that works with babies that are born on drugs. We don't need to do the true crime oracle because we already know everything and the parents have been convicted. But I just wanted to do a quick read on this because this story is just so sad. It's so sad. So very sad. There was nobody that stood up for him. Nobody stood up for him. He was all alone. Right? But how can a baby fight for itself? How can a baby fight for itself? How can a newborn fight for himself? You're supposed to be the ones that fight for him, right? You're supposed to be the ones that fight for him and protect him. This was in 2019, Mary. This was in 2019. This was in 2019. And yeah, justice was served, but we need to do better as a system. We need to do better as a system. Hospitals, CPS, we just need to do better as a system because it's crazy at what slips through the cracks or what they allow through the cracks because of what laziness or because I really think it's got to do with laziness, honestly. Like, if you're going to be in CPS, you have got to do the footwork. In my honest opinion, if it was my case and I was calling and leaving messages and nobody answered, I would drive over there. What did they get served? Hang on, I'll look it up real quick. Let me look it up. I will look it up. Let's see. They were sentenced. Okay. The Ohio couple was sentenced to life in prison for death of the baby who was found at the bottom of the well. Oh, wait, no, that's the wrong one. Hold on. The sentencing. Okay, so wow. They were also charged with tampering with evidence. Let me see if I can get the charges. It's not showing any charges. Let me see. I'm looking, y'all. Okay, here we go. I found it. So, both Daniel and Jessica Groves are facing 11 counts of aggravated murder, kidnapping, child endangerment, tampering with evidence, interference with custody, and gross abuse of a corpse, and 4 counts of felonious assault. Jessica was found guilty of all counts. Her husband, Daniel, was found guilty of all but 1 aggravated murder. Ironically, the couple was convicted on what would have been their son's first birthday. That's insane and crazy, right? Reap what you sow. Reap what you sow. Oh my God, that's crazy. So the judge proceeded to sentence Jessica Groves to life without parole on the aggravated murder charge. She was sentenced to 32 years combined with the other charges. Daniel Groves was sentenced to 15 years to life on the murder charge, as well as consecutive sentences that amounted to 47 years to life on all charges, including the murder charge. Baby Dylan's body was found last June in a well not far from his parents' home. That's crazy. I can't believe it. That's just crazy. Yeah, if you guys are interested in it and watching some of the court case and the hearing and all that, it's on YouTube. It's just under Baby Dylan. It's under Baby Dylan Groves, and it's really like you're able to see on your own how much this baby was failed by the system, and it just sickens me. It literally sickens me. Exactly, should have thrown them in a well. Absolutely. I mean, a baby can't fight back. A newborn can't do anything. Like, that newborn depends on you. And when people, it's just like there's people out there that can't have children and they try so hard and would be great parents and they can't conceive or have children. But yet here, these people are conceiving, right? No problem. And they abuse or they kill their children, right? It makes zero sense to me. It makes zero sense to me. Sometimes I just don't understand how things work. You know, sometimes I just don't understand. I know there's a reason for everything that happens, but I just don't understand. Hi, Buns Fish. How are you? Yeah, definitely go take a look at this case. I'm probably, let's see. Do we have another poll? Let me see. Let me go to my community post. That's, yeah, exactly. Right, Ginger? That's what I'm saying. Like, you think we aren't supposed to understand? Probably so, Aaron. Probably so. And it just sickens me, you know, that people can just, I don't know. I honestly feel, and I might get some backlash for this, but I honestly feel that there needs to be a mental evaluation if you want to have kids. I honestly feel that. Ooh, okay. So, based off the poll, so we did Baby Dylan Groves Thursday, you guys, Thursday, is going to be Jim Jones. Okay, Thursday is Jim Jones. Y'all be ready for some Jim Jones on Thursday. Y'all be ready. You've tried for 20 years, right? That's what I'm saying. Like, do you know, like, the amount of, like, seriously, I really believe that there needs to be mental evaluations done. People need a license to drive a car. And exactly. I honestly feel there needs to be mental evaluations because, I mean, the amount of abuse that children suffer and the amount of deaths that we have on children from abuse is insane. The county you grew up in, a girl had twins. It was determined they died of SIDS several years later. She had a baby and it died of SIDS. The county finally exhumed the bodies. Yeah, right. So what are the odds, right? What are the odds of 3 babies and they're all dying of SIDS, right? What are the odds? What are the odds? Well, thanks for chilling and hanging out for this live. It was a really quick one, which I knew it would be because, you know, the parents are already behind bars. They've already been sentenced, but it didn't really give us a look into something that we didn't know. So, I mean, we already knew addiction, drugs, and he was failed by the system. But it did look good that the card that came out that I really enjoyed the most was they reap what they sow. So they pretty much got what they deserved in the end. And baby Dylan is in a much better place. That's pretty much all that I took from this. And I'm grateful that I took that and did the time to do this because I think a lot of people didn't know who baby Dylan was. And I personally didn't until I just happened to see him on one of my TikToks actually. And I was like, oh my gosh, I've never heard of this. So, I mean, as long as I'm bringing some kind of, even if it's just a little bit of awareness to this case, just to show people that, you know, awareness needs to be made about this stuff on all systems and on all levels. But even foster family, true. That is true. Cause yep, there's a lot of bad fosters out there too. Absolutely. Your daughter graduates Thursday. Oh, well, congratulations. I'm so happy for you. Congratulations. Definitely Blue Riders. But thank you all for joining me. I know this wasn't a really exciting one or, you know, like, ooh and ah, but you know, it means a lot for me that you guys showed up and showed me some support. So thank you so very much. And like I said, without you guys, I won't have my channel. And I will catch you guys Thursday because Thursday is Jim Jones. And I'm super excited. I cannot wait to see what this is going to say. I'm super excited. So you guys have a great rest of your night. And thank you so much for being here.